What's going on? It's Suk and I'm back with a brand new video on SuperDuprTech, and in today's video I shall be showing you the results that I got when benchmarking the 2021 entry iPad. We are on the road to 5,000 subscribers, and if you are new around here, I must ask you to hit the subscribe button, clicking the bell to be notified when I upload any of my new videos. Without any further ado, let's hit the titles. The first benchmarking application which I ran on this iPad was GeekBench 5, which is a good first test as it runs several different tests and algorithms, and depending on how it's performed and how long it took to perform them, it will then give a score accordingly. So for this test, I got single core scores of 1,329 and multi-core scores of 3,425. The next test I ran was once again from GeekBench 5, but this time from their compute lineup of tests which are designed to test the performance of the A13 Bionics built-in GPU. So for this test I got a score of 7,200. I then ran GeekBench's machine learning set of tests which are designed to run several tests on different aspects of the iPad's A13 Bionic system on a chip. Apple has been positioning itself over the past few years as a leader in this space, so it's interesting to see how this iPad compares with other tablets, especially others in this price range. So here you can see the 9th gen iPad compared to the previous models and other Android tablets. It's interesting that you can see the vast improvements that Apple have been making when it comes to their neural engine. The improvements to the neural engine means that the CPU or GPU do not need to be used when it comes to recognizing text in images or faces in photographs and so much more. So you can see for this iPad, I got CPU scores of 719, GPU scores of 1,383, and when running these tests through the neural engine, I got scores of 1,752. The next benchmarking application that I ran on this iPad was GFXBench Metal, which is once again designed to test the performance of these 4 graphical cores found in the A13 Bionic. So this test was ran through Metal. Now GFXBench runs a number of different tests of both higher and lower levels of intensity. They are ran both on and off screen. So for this I have calculated the average across each category, but as always I will show you each individual result. So for the higher intensive graphics tasks, I got an average frame rate of 82.67 frames per second, whereas for the lower, I got a score of 113.1 frames per second. Next, I ran a network speed test and consistently got Wi-Fi download speeds above 220 megabits per second, whilst I got upload speeds of around 20.9 megabits per second, which is in line with the 200 megabits per second connection that I am currently paying for. I then ran the AnTuTu graphics benchmark, which runs several different tests on this device from the CPU, GPU, memory, and more. It will then give a general score based on the device's performance. So for this entry iPad, I got a score of 639,681. I then ran the AnTuTu storage speed test and got a score here of 18,742, but of course if you take a moment and pause the video right here, you'll be able to see the sequential read and write speeds that I got for the storage and the system memory. I then ran the HTML browser test from AnTuTu and got scores of 51,987. The next tests which I ran on this iPad were purely graphically based, coming from 3D Mark. The first I chose to run on this iPad was the wildlife graphics test. Now when running this test, I got a score of 7,098. Now after getting this score, I then decided to run the wildlife stress test. With this stress test, the highest score that we saw was one of 7,172 and the lowest I got was 6,240. Comparing the difference between these two scores, we can see that when this iPad was stressed the most, the dip in performance was approximately 14%. I pretty much did the same thing again, this time running the Wildlife Extreme graphics test, which as the name would imply, it's much more intense and runs these tests at a higher resolution. So when running this test, I got a score of 1,838. Therefore, once again, I chose to run the Wildlife Extreme Stress Test, and with this I got a high score of 1,852 and the lowest that I got here was 1,643. Now the drop in performance here wasn't quite as much, but once again it was a drop over 10%, coming in just under 12%. The final test I ran on this iPad was an export of a 4K video project using iMovie. So this video project had a length of 5 minutes and 24 seconds, and this export took 3 minutes and 32 seconds to complete. So there you have it. Take away from this video what you must, but it's quite good to see machines with this kind of performance for this price. So if you'd like to run the tests that you've seen in this video and compare them to your own machines, then go ahead and do so and let me know how your machines stack up to this iPad. If you have questions with anything you've seen in this video, then be sure to let me know by commenting down below or by hitting me up on my social media, links to which can be found in the video description or on screen. If you are new around here, then do please take a moment to subscribe, clicking the bell to be notified of when a new video goes live. Once again, thank you very much for watching, take care and have a good one.